Where do you want to go? Since Benita had told her to do whatever she wanted, Kurafat chose to ask instead of deciding on her own like he usually did. After all, he was trying to please her, and Benita should have gotten over her irritation or anger by now. She needed to understand that in the world, the number of people Kurafat would act like this towards was very small. I don't want to go anywhere. I just said it for the sake of it. There's no need for you to indulge me. Kurafat's eyebrows twitched again. She had lost count of how many times this had happened since she had met Benita. The young woman seemed to have a knack for constantly irritating her. And after that kiss, I won't allow anything else. We're even. I forced you to apologize and you kissed me. In fact, Benita still felt that she had heard wrong. She never expected that Kurafat would apologize so easily, without any arrogance. On the other hand, Kurafat felt like she was being manipulated by someone younger. I don't like that. Don't you like me? Kurafat gave him an intense look. Did Benita have any idea what she was asking? If I start liking you, you're the one who'll have problems. Why? If you want to know so much, then make me like you. Benita frowned. It wasn't her place to chase after or force Kurafat to like her. More than that, she didn't even want to know that much. Why should she put in the effort for something uncertain when she could bet on something more predictable? And at the moment, she wasn't sure if she could expect anything from Kurafat, since she couldn't read her. Then I don't want to know any more. Won't you even try a little? Liking someone wasn't a task or something that followed a script, at least in Benita's opinion. If she was going to like someone, she wanted it to be something natural, without having to make an effort to please or do what the other person liked. If it was going to happen, her heart would know how to tell her. And for now, Kurafat was still more annoying than someone worth falling in love with. No. Happy. Before they could continue their discussion, the sound of raised voices outside the car interrupted their conversation. Kurafat's security guards were working hard to keep the situation from getting out of hand again, and it was not normal for a man to suddenly come staggering towards the car. When Benita looked out and saw who it was, her heart skipped a beat. She was so tense that Kurafat immediately realized something was wrong. She had received reports about this person before, but she had never seen him in person. Now, there was no doubt. There was no need for an introduction. Do you know him? Kurafat asked casually, but deep down, he wanted to know how Benita would respond. Would she ignore him or tell him the truth? Her answer would directly affect his confidence. If he wanted to know if he could trust the woman in front of him, this was a good place to start. Yes, but if I could choose, I would rather not know. If she had known that Kem would grow up to be someone like this, someone obsessed and thirsty to possess her, someone who made her feel afraid just to be near him, she would have preferred never to have met him. To her, Kem would never be anything more than a friend, and that was the most she could offer. But Kem wouldn't stop yelling and causing a ruckus. Benita couldn't just stand by while he disrupted everyone around him, especially Kurafat. Are you going out? Yes. If I don't go, he'll keep drawing attention to you. Ask the driver to take you back if you want. Kurafat didn't respond or agree. He just watched Benita get out of the car in silence. As soon as Kem saw Benita, he stopped screaming and smiled broadly as if he was very happy. But he couldn't get close to her, because 2 security guards were holding him tightly by the arms. It was like a scene straight out of a mafia drama. The more he tried to escape, the more impossible it became, and in the end, he was the one who ended up hurt. Those men's hands were as heavy and firm as pliers. Bo, why did you disappear like that? Do you know that Aunt Beulah was very worried? I was also waiting for you here for several days. I called several times and you didn't answer. We've already talked about this, haven't we? You were going to drop out of college and become my wife, living a quiet life at home. How can you run away like that? Benita frowned, for she had never agreed to any of this. It was all in his head. Whose car is that? I saw you get in a while ago and Neve come out. I was worried something bad had happened, so I came looking for you. Tell those guys to let me go, Bo. Tell them to let me go and let's go home. I won't be mad at you for running away. As for Aunt Beulah, I'll sort everything out with her. Go back home, Kem. I'm not going back there. And about what you said, I never agreed with any of it. You were the one who made that decision alone. The young man frowned, his breathing heavy with anger. He had already boasted to the entire neighborhood that he would soon have Benita at home, as his wife, serving him in bed. Now she disappeared and made him feel ashamed. What do you mean I made this up? Your mother took my money. Kem's harsh voice and menacing gaze made Benita take a step back. She felt afraid that he would take her back to that place she was trying to escape. Then go sort it out with my mother. This has nothing to do with me. Kem's eyebrow began to twitch. Benita was more stubborn than ever. She didn't behave like before, she seemed like another person. What do you mean it has nothing to do with it? She's your mother. Kem's loud tone echoed throughout the place, catching Curafat's attention, who opened the car door and got out. His handsome face displayed a stern expression, making the atmosphere even heavier. Benita felt like a crushing weight had fallen on her shoulders. It was humiliating that all of this was happening in front of Curafat. She didn't want the other woman to see this bad side of her life, but she had no choice. Her life had never been all about beautiful moments. Oh, so it's because you now have a millionaire to support you. Is that why you abandoned your family? When Benita didn't respond, Kem turned to Curafat and asked directly, "Do you know that this woman is my wife?" Kem. Benita exclaimed, shocked. How dare he say that? There had never been anything between them, not even in thought. What's so fun about taking someone else's wife and supporting her? Do you think money can buy everything? Before he could say anything else, one of Curafat's bodyguards kicked him in the leg, sending Kem falling to his knees on the ground. He then twisted his arm, eliciting a cry of pain. Let me go, damn it. Kem struggled to free himself, but he was powerless. He hated to admit it, but he was alone. If he had brought his friends, those security guards would have had a real problem. Why are you interfering in husband and wife's affairs? Kem, what nonsense are you talking? Benita screamed, exasperated. However, before she could say anything else, Curafat stopped her, touching her shoulder and squeezing lightly. Curafat's eyebrow rose as he noticed Benita's body trembling. But was it anger or some other emotion? Take him away from here. His voice was cold and indifferent. He didn't even bother to look at Kem. Yes, ma'am. If you are so brave, then let me go. I'm going to take my wife home. You only know how to talk nonsense without using your head. Or rather, you use something else instead, and you still expect me to be docile. Whether Benita is your wife or not, whether she ran away from home or not, none of that matters to me. Even if your allegations were true, it wouldn't diminish her value. And it certainly wouldn't give you the right to feel like you own her life. Stay away from my wife. Kem cried out as he saw Curafat pulling Benita closer, wrapping her in a protective embrace. She did something he had never done. I've never had a husband like you, Kem, Benita declared loud and clear. And even if I chose someone to support me, in exchange for whatever I was willing to give, without taking anything from anyone or doing anything wrong, I wouldn't need your permission. The only permission that matters is my own. Curapat turned sharply to face her. Those words were exactly what she had told her younger sister before. The right to her own body, mind, and heart belonged only to herself, no one else. She always thought so, but she never imagined that one day she would find someone who thought the same way. Bo, don't do that. Seeing the seriousness in his friend's eyes, Kem spoke in a soft tone. If she didn't accept to go back to him, if she didn't give in, what would he do? He loved Benita much more than she or anyone else could imagine. Come back, Kem, and let us not meet again. I am not going. Benita couldn't make Kem disappear because he didn't fear her, but Curafat could. She didn't need to take him out of this world, she just had to make him understand that he should value his own life more. That would be enough. Ask me. Curafat turned to Benita and whispered softly. She was willing to help her, but every action required a return. It didn't have to be big, but at least it wouldn't be a loss. What? I can make him stop bothering you forever. Ask me. In exchange for what? Benita knew she wouldn't get help for free. If just one request was enough, Curafat's eyes wouldn't shine like a lurking wolf's. She already had the answer in mind. She just wanted to hear confirmation from Benita herself. If empty promises meant nothing, Benita knew that rule didn't apply to the woman in front of her. In exchange for my satisfaction. That's pretty vague, don't you think? Make me happy in any way you are willing. This time, Curafat would make no mistakes. She created a perfect trap, hoping that Benita would jump into it of her own free will. If that were the case, she would not be able to blame her later. After all, from the beginning, Curafat had given her the choice. Whether or not she wanted to jump was her decision. Benita pursed her lips, her big eyes returning to stare at the figure of her old friend. Then, she made her decision. He as well. Good choice, dear. Curafat gently ran his hand through Benita's hair before turning to his bodyguards and Kem. His touch was gentle, but his expression was now cold and calculating. You know what to do, right? Yes, ma'am. The security guard grabbed Kem by the arms and dragged him away. Meanwhile, Curafat signaled to another security guard, who was already standing by. Someone took pictures of me. Do you want me to solve this, ma'am? No, leave it be. But find out which news agency or group this person is a part of. Curafat's enigmatic gaze always made others hesitate. No one ever knew exactly what she was thinking. Back in the car, Curafat and Benita continued on their way slowly. They had not yet decided on a destination. Do you have to work today? I'm on vacation. Curafat imagined that she felt embarrassed by what had just happened. And of course, no one wanted to go through a situation like that. Everyone has secrets that they would rather keep hidden. Aren't you going to ask who he was? Curafat could say he already knew everything, but he chose to just shake his head silently. That's your business. She knew her employees wouldn't be able to figure out everything, just the basics, who was who, their personalities, and their intentions. To really know, she'd have to wait for Benita to tell her herself. You can drop me off anywhere. I don't want to go home now. I didn't say I was going to take you home. What? Benita frowned, but she was too tired to argue. She felt exhausted, weak, and deeply ashamed. Then drop me off in front of the university. No need to be embarrassed. I don't care. The scandal, Kem's allegations, everything he had said, none of it bothered Curafat. She wasn't the type to easily believe what she heard. But I made people look at you that way. We can't control what others say, Curafat replied in a calm voice, exchanging a glance with the driver before sighing lightly. That's true, but I don't care what others think of me. I can't care about everyone in this world. Benita bit her lips before nodding, feeling a little relieved. Curafat didn't really seem to be bothered by Kem's words. On the contrary, she acted as if it didn't matter at all. Now you're not safe. What? Someone is following us. Benita quickly turned to look back, but with so many cars on the street, it was impossible to know whether Curafat was telling the truth or not. Because of me. Curafat was silent for a moment before answering. Partly, it must be someone trying to take pictures of me, and now there are probably pictures of us together. What should we do if the photos are released? I can't take that responsibility. I have nothing. I'm sorry if I caused you any trouble with fake news. Curafat wanted to laugh, but held it back. She understood that Benita was truly shaken, otherwise she wouldn't have this reaction. Normally, she wasn't someone who bowed down easily, except when it came to work. If there's a safe place, you can leave me there. I promise I won't cause you any more trouble. Benita lowered her head, resigned to her fate. That was why she didn't see the slight smile that appeared on Curafat's lips, a smile that soon disappeared when his fingers gently lifted the young woman's chin, forcing her to look at her. You have a part in this, but it's not your fault. If you really want to take responsibility, then act normally. Or else, behave appropriately so that you can be by my side when we have to answer questions. And me. If the photos are released and you are in them, then I think that's how it will be. But how could I help her? They were from completely different worlds. If Kurafat had an elevator all to himself, Benita still had to climb the stairs. Kurafat had his own car, while Benita still took public transportation. Don't look down on yourself. Kurafat's voice was firm. She wanted Benita to hold her head high no matter the situation. Even when she received a kiss from her, or when she was stared at by others, she wanted Benita to not show weakness. As for your question about where is safest, my answer is, my place. Do you want to go? I'm not forcing you. Today I promised I would do whatever you wanted, didn't I? And our agreement. I will charge you at the right time. You should tell me how many times, or for how long I have to fulfill this agreement. That depends on how long you don't want to see that man. So does that mean I would have to stay with you forever? I didn't say I would stop it if necessary. And remember, babe, when you're with me, never lower your head to anyone. Not even for you. What do you mean? Benita bit her lips, trying to push away the strange thoughts that were popping into her mind. But when she saw Kurafat's insistent gaze, she knew that she wouldn't win this battle. In fact, ever since Kem had appeared, her reasoning seemed to have been completely messed up. If I'm taller than you and I look down, does that count? Kurafat frowned, unsure if she had understood correctly. However, she let out a hot sigh before replying. If I let you get taller than me, maybe.